This is Abigail Spanberger, former Congresswoman, former CIA case officer, and the current Democrat nominee for Virginia governor. Recently, Spanberger participated in a debate with her Republican opponent, Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. The current hot topic of the campaign surrounds the Democrat nominee for Attorney General, Jay Jones. Back in 2022, Jones texted a colleague, fantasizing about shooting then Virginia GOP Speaker Todd Gilbert. So in a normal world, if you're a candidate for the top law enforcement position in the state, and it's been revealed that you were musing about the murder of a political opponent, it would be immediately disqualifying. But instead,
our next question is about the temperature and tone of political speech. The first example has been shaping the race for governor and attorney general for the past week. You both will have a chance for rebuttal.
This shouldn't even be up for debate, especially in light of the very recent assassination of Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband. But here's where we are in 2025.
Democratic Attorney General nominee Jay Jones admits he sent text messages to a colleague referencing former Republican House Speaker Todd Gilbert. Here's what he wrote.
Jones, 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, Hitler, Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. Colleague, Jay, please stop. Jones, LOL, okay. I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? Yes. Colleague, you were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. Jones, yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy.
So not only did Jay Jones fantasize about the murder of the House Speaker, but also the murder of the Speaker's children.
Jay Jones has apologized and says he takes full responsibility for those messages.
He apologized? Well, in that case, why are we even talking about it?
Ms. Spanberger, you have called the comments disgusting and said you condemn violence. The question for you tonight is, were you aware of these messages before they were released publicly? And will you continue to endorse Jay Jones as the next Attorney General of Virginia? You have 60 seconds.
The correct answer would be, no, I can't continue to endorse him. I can't force him to resign either, but it would be the right thing to do. But instead of doing the right thing for Virginia, the Democrats are going to continue to endorse a psychopath.
The comments that Jay Jones made are absolutely abhorrent. I denounced them when I learned of them, and I will denounce them every opportunity I get. As a mother, as a public servant, as a candidate for governor, I denounce them. And it is important that candidates always denounce violence.
Wow, what a hero.
Violence, violent rhetoric, we should always be focused and forceful in our denouncement of it.
The question is, are you going to tell him
and
to get
importantly, my opponent, unfortunately, only denounces violence when her side is the target.
Don't
I
lie
hope
like that,
into
Abigail.
the future, she will endeavor to denounce violent rhetoric and violence no matter who the victim.
So what Spanberger is basically saying is that not denouncing violent rhetoric is worse than actual violent rhetoric. Got it. And you may have noticed that Spanberger didn't actually answer the question.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. I didn't hear an answer there on the endorsement issue, so I want to just make sure. Will you continue to endorse Jay Jones to be the next Attorney General of Virginia? And were you aware of these text messages before they released? You have 30 seconds.
In fact, it appears that it was those who released the text messages and held them for years. So the public was unaware who had knowledge of these text messages.
So Spanberger is trying to downplay what Jay Jones texted by saying, well, the person who leaked the texts, they're doing it for political purposes. As if that makes any difference whatsoever.
At this point, as we move forward, the voters now have this information that was withheld for them,
You're running to
presumably
be
for
Ms. Earl
political
Sears,
reasons. But the voters now have the information, and it is up to voters to make an individual choice based on this information.
Ms. Spanberger, I understand what you're saying about the voters, but for you yourself, do you still continue to endorse Jay Jones? 15 seconds, yes or no?
Spoiler alert, she's not going to answer. Instead, she puts the focus back on Lieutenant Governor Earl Sears and the Republicans.
We are all running our individual races. I believe my opponent has said that about her lieutenant governor nominee.
Spanberger is referring to the manufactured controversy surrounding John Reed, the gay conservative radio host and the Republican candidate for lieutenant governor. A now deleted Tumblr account containing, quote, Nazi porn, and was run by J.R. Do, had the same username as John Reed's Instagram account. However, beyond the shared username, there is no proof that the Tumblr page actually belonged to John Reed, who has denied that the page had anything to do with him, unlike Jay Jones, who has admitted that the texts were his.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. We just want to clarify, what you're saying is that as of now, you still endorse Jay Jones as Attorney General.
I'm saying as of now, it's up to every voter to make their own individual decision. I am running for governor. I am accountable for the words that I say, for the acts that I take, for the policies that I have put out.
Thank you.
I am responsible for the policies I put out and the work I will endeavor to do tirelessly for the people of Virginia.
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger.
Yes, thank you so much for making me ask you the same question 4 times. Absolutely pathetic.
Ms. Earl Sears, before we get to rebuttals, because we will get to rebuttals, we have a question for you. While there is no equivalency, this next example does speak to the divided nature of our country. During the Charlie Kirk Memorial, President Trump said, quote, I hate my opponent and I don't want the best for them. Is there a place for that kind of political speech?
Okay, before we get to Lieutenant Governor Earl Sears' response, I would like to play you the quote from President Trump.
He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent. Charlie's angry. Looking down, he's angry at me now.
So first of all, I have to commend Deanna Albritton for pushing to get Spanberger to give an actual answer. On the other hand, Albritton even remotely comparing what President Trump said to what Jay Jones texted, it isn't even in the same galaxy.
Well, I think as everybody knows, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian before I'm a Republican, and I'm required to forgive people. And it's hard sometimes when somebody has abused you, etc., but it's something you must do, because not to forgive is almost like, as someone said, you drink poison thinking that it's going to affect the other person. And I want to live a decent life, and I don't want to not have peace in my life. And so as I've said before, I would not say that.
And this is a solid response. Trump said a thing that you might not agree with, but it's not violent rhetoric. And quite frankly, there's nothing to denounce. Besides, he has every right to say that he hates his opponents. You know, the ones who routinely call him a fascist and a Nazi dictator.
So that's why I'm wondering why my opponent won't say beyond it's abhorrent and disgusting, why she won't say it is not okay and that he must leave the race, because Jay Jones advocated the murder, Abigail, the murder of a man, a former speaker, as well as his children who were 2 and 5 years old. You have little girls. What would it take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race, Abigail?
Spanberger won't even look at Earl Sears because she can't properly defend Jay Jones staying in the race. What an absolute coward.
You have nothing to say? Abigail, what if he said it about your 3 children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running to be governor.
This is not the face of a leader, it's the face of a hypocrite. But instead of being honest about her own stance, she used the old "but Trump" defense.
I think in her response to the question that you asked, my opponent proved my point, which is when violent rhetoric comes from her side of the aisle, she refuses to denounce it. The statement that you read from President Donald Trump was violent rhetoric that she refuses to denounce. And this is why I say you are not
Earl Sears,
my enemy.
She has her 30
and
seconds.
I wish you would stop
murder.
using language like that. When given the opportunity, Lieutenant Governor Earl Sears, you have not done the same.
So Spanberger is not only accusing President Trump of using violent rhetoric, but also accusing the Lieutenant Governor of the same. Neither are true, but I'd like to play you something.
Let your rage fuel you.
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 Use your aggressive feelings. Let the hate flow through you.
For the record, the definition of rage is violent, uncontrollable anger, which means Abigail Spanberger won't hold herself to the same standard that she herself demands from Republicans. I know you're shocked. Anyway, that's it for now. If you want to support the channel, head over to my brand new merch store at don'twalkrun.shop. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time, if there is a next time.